Hey! Yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week. Unfortunately, it's not my full comic load. I didn't get to read Hellblazer or Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77, but I mean, you win some, you lose some. But this is a big week. A lot of big comics came out this week, so we might as well start where we always start, with just a little bit of Batman in our life, with Detective Comics issue 955. This is continuing the League of Shadows story arc that's dealing with more of an origin for Cassandra Cain, but also with bringing Lady Shiva back into the fold of the DC Universe in a more traditional way. For those of you that may not remember, Lady Shiva only really had two other appearances in the New 52, or since the New 52. That was in Nightwing's comic, and then in Red Hood and the Outlaws, both of which she had this green costume with this weird braid, but since Rebirth she has more of the traditional Chinese martial arts kind of tunic and leather jacket, and she's gone back to the way she was, and basically she's dismembered the Batman team, even taking out Batman himself. And the only one out there that can save them is Cassandra Cain. This issue is just reaffirming and reestablishing Cassandra as a badass, which will eventually lead up into the big fight between her, Lady Shiva, and the Bat family. This story arc has been thoroughly enjoying throughout the whole entire thing. Lady Shiva is one of my favorite villains in the DCU. She's a martial arts-based villain. I love martial arts, as you guys know. Black belt. Been training for 21 years. But not just that, but the connection between her and Cassandra Cain, mother and daughter, and just the opposing views, it works out so well with building characters in the New 52. Specifically Cassandra Cain, who needed that build. Not too much different from what it was before the New 52 and the post-crisis universe, but still a much-needed character growth and development that, ever since she got reintroduced. So, we'll give this a 4 out of 5. The only reason why I'm not giving it higher is because not much happens other than some banter, but the next issue is going to be pretty epic. Batgirl issue number 10. This is the Son of Penguin story arc continuing this. And this is basically Batgirl really questioning her boyfriend, Oswald Cobblepot's kid, and exactly his motives, and is he a good guy, is he a bad guy, what's going on with him, all this kind of jazz, and it all leads up to what will be a good cliffhanger and an interesting next issue. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. The only thing I have to say is this is a bit dialogue heavy, and I'm not a big dialogue heavy kind of guy. Some parts aren't so heavy, some parts are, but that's on a whole. Batgirl is definitely getting better. I feel as though this Son of the Penguin story arc has been better than the previous story arcs we've been having with her, so I like to continue to see this going. Batman the Shadow, issue number 1 of 6. So I got the black and white cover, although the normal cover is underneath. I'm not a big Shadow fan. I like the Shadow. I haven't read too much of him. I didn't see the movie. I'm not, but he's a really good pulpy character, pulp noir kind of character, and he mixes with Batman pretty well. This is written by Scott Snyder and Steve Orlando. I think it's Steve Orlando. And basically, in this issue, there's a bunch of murders going on, and Batman has to figure out exactly who's causing this, and of course, the Shadow's at the center of it all. If you enjoy these two characters, you'll enjoy the crossover. And even if you're not a big Shadow guy, because I'm not going to lie, of the two characters, he's definitely not as popular as Batman, but even if you want like a fun little side Batman story, this is actually pretty fun. The art is really good, and you got two great writers with Orlando and Snyder working together on this, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's always debatable whether or not these are in continuity or not, because it's like, well, it's two different universes colliding, but you can just read this as a fun side story. 4 out of 5. Batman Beyond, issue number 7. This is starting to ramp up and get better and better. This is starting to feel more like the Batman Beyond of old, while at the same time giving it that fresh feel. Because Bruce is back as Bruce, and guiding Terry and being a mentor. Terry's struggling with his personal life, and while this is going on, the League of Assassins are everywhere, with the possible return of a great Batman villain, which is interesting because if this is the actual return of that individual, it's going to be interesting on how they left off in the animated series. I'm not going to reveal too much. I'm sure you guys can piece it together based off the storyline itself. But Batman Beyond has been an enjoyable series. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. Pick it up. Pick up the last few issues if you want, just to kind of catch up. This is a continuity-heavy book. It's not like the beginning of the story arc is as easy to jump on as, say, some of the other stuff. But Jurgens has been doing some really good stuff with Batman Beyond. So Jurgens has really been doing a lot of good stuff in New 52. Not New 52, Rebirth, but we'll get into that a bit later. X-Men Gold, issue number 2. Issue number 1 did enough for me to want to stay with this comic. Issue number 2, does it do enough to make me want to stay with this comic again? And the answer is yes. This feels like ooey gooey Chris Claremont goodiness from the 90s now. Again, lineup, I would like my traditional Wolverine. I would like a Cyclops sprinkled on top, but for the most part, this story it's very reminiscent of the 90s X-Men. Not 100%, but still very reminiscent, and Old Man Logan's a pretty badass in this. In particular, when he's chained up, and how he gets out of the chains is just really, really cool. So, definitely the comic I think I'm right now enjoying the most out of Marvel. I'm only picking up like 3 Marvel comics: Captain America, this, Weapon X, but I have to say I've been enjoying this a bit more right now, but it's only 2 issues in, so it's kind of hard to tell. It's a good jumping on point for X-Men fans, or someone that's been away from X-Men for a while, because boy has X-Men been a hot mess. Hot mess. But this is a great comic to jump on. It's only issue number 2. Go get it. Let's talk about the big discussion this week, and that would be Action Comics 978. This is, again, the Superman Reborn Aftermath, and this chronicles Superman's history, and it gives a complete chronicle of his origin and everything you need to know. So know how I kind of kept on saying like exactly what's canon, what's in continuity, and again, it's going by the Rebirth moniker that everything's in continuity. So basically, I mean, if we take the DC continuity has been around now for about 10 years, 10 to 11 years. That's how you feel about that, because this all goes based off how old John is. John's around 10 years old. So Superman, as you can see here, all his post-crisis adventures happened in year 1. So even with him wearing all the suits are canon. Every suit is canon. So as you can see there, even the electric blue, he has exile suit, the Kryptonian suit, and then of course his traditional red brief suit. So year 1 happens, and at the end of year 1, he fights Doomsday, and Doomsday kills him, as seen here. And then, as you can see, a few things are admitted. In particular, they show all the replacement Supermans, but no Superboy, no Con-El. After year 1, he comes back to life. He's wearing the New 52 suit, so the New 52 is still canon. And then you see the birth of you see John getting born. Not to reveal too much of this, but again, a lot of references to New 52. You got New 52 Wonder Woman suit, New 52 Batman suit. This is the birth of John. And then you see a lot more of piecing his continuity. And what I will have to say is this is the issue that I've been needing for Rebirth, because Superman has been all over the place. He's been a hot mess. I know you used that already in this video, but he's been a hot mess. Like, it's been so confusing with Superman for me, because, you know, I didn't like the New 52 interpretation as much as the post-crisis. I'm a father. I'm a husband. Like, I relate to Superman. Like, I like the fact he's married. I like the fact that he has a kid. Like, I can relate to that. And it's something that comic books don't have. My favorite character, Batman, I come to accept the fact that chances are he's not going to settle down. He's always going to be alone. It would be nice if he did. You know, Catwoman, Silver State Cloud. But I at least can get it out of Superman. But, you know, when New 52 happened, bye-bye that relationship, which sucked. But I still committed to that Superman. And I enjoyed New 52 Superman for what it was. I enjoyed the costume. I enjoyed some of the stories. I enjoyed, like, a lot of stuff. And some of the approaches. Again, but he wasn't perfect. So I always wanted him to go back with Lois and go back to being Truth, Justice, American Way. But then they bring in post-crisis Superman and kill this Superman. Why didn't they just fix this Superman? That bothered me. And now they merged the two together. But they do it in issue number 978, literally a year into this. This should have been the first issue of Action Comics: The Rebirth. It should have been the first story arc of Superman in general. That's what should have happened. So I'm glad with the result, because now this is the official Superman canon. It's everything from the past and the New 52 all put together correctly. And it works out marvelously. There's still a lot of questions, because how does the Justice League fill in the basically, how does the Justice League fall in this? Like, where are they in the timeline? Like, it's so confusing. So a lot of questions still going out. But this issue is awesome. The cover is awesome. Gary Frank, fantastic. 5 out of 5. Really good stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, that's gonna be my pick of the week. So just so you know, right now, really good stuff. And there's another comic in here that was a really good comic that came close, but that's still pick of the week. TMNT Universe issue number 9. This is continuing Eloplex and Angel's journey, and basically we're dealing with another part of the animal pantheon, which Kitsu, if you remember Kitsu's part of that pantheon. The Rat King is part of that pantheon, and then we have the Baron Frog. I think it's Baron something. I think it's Baron Toad. Baron Toad. And this issue has a lot of good with it and a couple bad. Good is this is what I want TMNT Universe to be about. It's not so much about the Turtles, but about the side characters. This is what I was promised with this comic. The first issue, the first story arc was focused on the brothers, which is fine. I love the Turtles. Please, fuck. All day, every day, face, neck, and chest, I'll take the Turtles. But it's cool that we're getting side characters, and Eloplex and Angel are two of the best side characters that got introduced in the current run, the IDW run. And the story is interesting, to say the least, but the art, I'm not feeling the art at all. Not one bit. Especially on how Angel gets interpreted on it. She kind of looks like a dude. Like, look at this. Kind of looks like a dude. Putting that all aside, if you're a fan of these two characters, this is definitely a pick up. I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5. I would have liked to see more happen in this, but for what we got, it was a good comic. Suicide Squad issue number 16. My boy Tony Daniels is jumping on as the artist, and I could not be happier. This is a standard snatch and grab theft story, basically dealing with Lex Luthor, and not just Lex Luthor, but a exchange of words between Lex and Amanda, which is really cool, and then the Suicide Squad doing their thing. This is a prime example of what the Suicide Squad should be as an issue. I'm not going to delve into the story too much. It has a really good ending, and it's going to be interesting where it goes from here. But this is everything that I wanted from the Suicide Squad. Action, comedy, suspense, tension. Those four. The 4 pillars. I just made that up, but it works. Like, there's action in this, there's some humor in this, there is tension in this, and just on a whole, it's what I wanted from a Suicide Squad comic. And this comic has, I think, been the best interpretation of the Suicide Squad since, well, basically since the New 52. So, and Tony Daniels' art is gorgeous on this. So, I mean, it's just, it pops really well. Let me pull up a good one. Like, the action scenes come out really good. And Rob Williams, I'm not giving him enough credit that he deserves, but his dialogue is really good, particularly between Lex and Amanda. This is a really, 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 really good jumping on point for Suicide Squad. So if you've been avoiding this comic, don't avoid it much longer. Pick it up. Let's talk about another comic that has been really fun, and that would be Teen Titans, issue number 7. This is concluding the 2-issue story arc, Rise of Aqualad. So we're getting the reintroduction of Aqualad. You can see him right up there. Jackson. And basically, he is an amalgamation of the Aqualad that we had from Brightest Day years ago. Here we go. There he is. Brightest Day years ago, and from... what is it called? And from Young Justice, because he has the Young Justice look, and he has more of the feel of the Brightest Day Aqualad. That Aqualad didn't get really much time on there. Like, he was in there just for Brightest Day, and then he disappeared because the New 52 happened. They wrote him off. They said eventually he would show up, but I didn't think it was going to take 6 years for it to happen. In saying that, I really like Jackson. I like him as Aqualad. I think the more you inject into Young Justice, into the Teen Titans book, the better. because Young Justice was a fantastic show. It's coming back, and it needs to come back because it was really, really good. It's a shame that we don't have some key players that are in there, like Ms. Martian, Superboy, Connell, Tim Drake. Like, I don't get why Dan DiDio has a stick up his butt about Connell and Tim Drake. Like, they would be fine in this comic. I get it. You want to throw Damian on there, but Damian could be in the bloody fucking Super Sons. But Damian works in this, too, so I guess I can't complain too much. But the more injection of the Young Justice you put in here, I'm perfectly fine with it. I like the character's new origin. I like the fact that they make him gay, which, you know, we haven't seen too much of, you know, the diversity and sexual orientation on Titans as much, so it's good to have that in there, too. And I like how his power set is similar to that of Young Justice. Just everything screams about this book working out well. The art is great, and I like that this was a 2-issue story arc. You don't need a full freaking 5 issues to introduce character. Like, you got everything you need from the character here, and then you can build from there. The only thing I don't like about the character for Aqualad right now is the fact that he's such a rookie. They removed the being kind of part of Atlantis and part of the elite guard that Young Justice had, and they're going with more of like, I'm new to my powers, what do I do? Shit, this is my dick. Like, oh my god, I can shoot water out of my hands. Like, he's a big time rookie, so much so that like he's taking advice from Damian. So Damian's like 13. Like, I wouldn't take an advice from a 13-year-old. Maybe if they were playing Minecraft, I would, but like other than that, no. So other than that, but I mean, this comic's really great. 5 out of 5. Pick it up. Blue Beetle, issue number 8. Blue Beetle is now powerless, and he has to work with Ted Cord in order to basically save his mom and do a bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to give you a spoiler warning, but you do see the old school Blue Beetle suit in there, so I'm not going to spoil too much more than that. But fun. I think this is one of the better issues of the comic, and I feel as though this comic's starting to get into a good groove. The early issues were rough, and when I mean rough and tough. But I think the past, like, 3 issues have really made this comic come in its own. So yeah, pick it up. Weapon X, issue number 2. This is continuing with Weapon X, basically going out and hunting out big, old school members of the Weapon X program. Old Man Logan, Domino, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, and Warpath. This is more of a Sabretooth, Old Man Logan story. The only thing that bothers me about this is the fact that they reference Old Man Logan as the Wolverine of this universe, but clearly he's not. Like, he's Old Man Logan. He's from another universe. But in saying that, great action, great dialogue, great banter. Weapon X has turned out to be a pretty decent comic so far. Again, only in issue number 2, but I'm still picking it up. So I recommend getting it. Let's move on to Wonder Woman. Boy, oh boy. Wonder Woman. I love you, Wonder Woman. I love the art, and I love the direction of this comic. I think the modern day stuff is better than year 1 stuff. We're finally getting more and more answers into Themyscira and where it's from and what's going on here and all the truths and lies being revealed. And we get one of my favorite Wonder Woman character / antagonist / I don't know if I would call him, I guess antagonist is good. We get one of my favorite Wonder Woman characters come back, and coming back in their pre-New 52 form. So that should be interesting. This is a 4 out of 5. Wonder Woman has been fun the past few issues. I don't think it's as confusing as it was beforehand, because, you know, the back and forth between past and present. But yeah, pick it up. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Again, continuing the awesomeness of this book. This is like the black horse of the DC universe. This is the comic that no one's talking about, but everyone should be reading. Basically, there is Rip Hunter comes from the future. You know, Rip Hunter, that Time Master, coming from the future, warning everyone, hey guys, shit's about to get real. Green Lantern Corps gets destroyed in about 40 years. And he reveals some stuff about the future, and then these prison monsters show up, and then the Green Lanterns go against them, and Hal Jordan is just a badass, and then a lot of great Green Lanterns moments. I mean, Robin Venditti has been helming Green Lantern since Jeff Johns has left, and he has been one of the best replacements. It's funny, I was talking about this years ago, how as good as Jeff Johns is, I was eager for him to leave so someone else would jump on, and I knew it was going to be hard because it's like you're with one of the best. Like, Jeff Johns is, without a doubt, say what you want about Jeff Johns. Okay, I know a lot of people that I love Jeff Johns, but I have a friend that really does not like Jeff Johns at all. But say what you want about Jeff Johns, the one thing that is indisputable is his Green Lantern run is the best Green Lantern run. So for someone to jump on and do just as good as Jeff Johns has done, it's tough, but he's doing it. Pick this book up. Really good stuff. Really good. Pick it up. 5 out of 5. Flash, issue number 21. This is continuing the Button story arc. And there was a couple covers out there. The only one I couldn't get is like the one with him holding the button, but I really like the one with where Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, is getting torn up. And I gotta tell you, like, of course, there's a lot of continuity goodness in this. I don't want to reveal too much, but you see them flying through the timeline. And of course, eventually they go to one of the previous DC universes, which is going to lead into an emotional issue of Batman. But what I really like most about this isn't even the continuity stuff. You guys know how I'm all about the continuity stuff. All over me, everywhere. But what really is great about this is I love the relationship between Batman and Flash in this. Bruce and Barry, they work on such an interesting level, on a very professional level. Like, they're friends, kind of, but they're more colleagues than anything. Like, do you ever have those people that you work with, that you work well with, and you have a good relationship with, but you really never see outside of work? Like, that's like Bruce and Barry. Like, Barry will go out and have a drink with Hal. That's cool. He's not going to have a drink with Bruce. They're going to talk shop. They're going to go back and forth. And they understand each other on a level different. Like, I have friends out there that I'm really good friends with, but they can't talk to me about, like, say, karate, where I can talk to someone who's not really my friend and just go into hours worth of karate talk. Like, it's just how it is. The relationship with Batman and Barry, I think, is a high point of this, but the continuity goodness is good too, and the ending is just setting up what will be a great issue. 5 out of 5. This would have been my pick of the week if Action Comics didn't come out, but really good stuff. And finally, ending things off is Justice League of America, issue number 5. This issue focuses a bit on Lobo, but it also focuses a bit on Ray. This issue is okay. I want to say okay. We got a switch up of art, and I don't know how I feel about the switch up of art because we had Ivan Reis. Ivan Reis was one of the big selling points on this book. This book is still okay. I think it's still getting its feet. I do like how the new, what do they call it? The Mount Justice was made in Happy Harbor, which is in Rhode Island, which, fun fact for you guys, in the Justice League continuity was the first location that the Justice League had their hideout. If you go through all the Silver Age stuff up to the current continuity, they didn't start in the Watchtower. They actually started in Rhode Island in basically this cave, and that was their Justice League area. And then from there, they went to the Satellite. It was just called the Satellite, and then from there they went to Detroit, and then they went into, I think, back to the harbor in Justice League International. I have to check on that. And then they created the Watchtower, and then they had the Hall of Justice. The Hall of Justice was in the cartoon, but in comic continuity it showed up in the mid-2000s, and then it's just always been the Watchtower there. But okay issue, but just that. 3 out of 5. And I think you guys know where I stand on which is my pick of the week, which is without a doubt Action Comics. Action Comics 978. Really good stuff. Interested to see where Rebirth and everything goes from here. Interested to see where a lot of things go from here. Not just with DC, but with Marvel, which gives me a chance to talk about this. I've been talking to a lot of vendors because there's a big thing going on right now about Marvel sales are actually going down with comics because a lot of people don't. There was a dispute about, not dispute, but there was talk about they don't like the diversity or they want the old characters back or whatever the case may be. But I have talked to a couple of vendors and particularly my comic book guy, and he's like, yeah, Marvel is not selling right now. Nobody wants to buy it. They're all buying the Rebirth stuff. And that's because it's not that they don't like diversity. Like, some of the best characters out there is diverse. You look at Ms. Marvel, the new one, she's a really good selling character. And she's again, diversity. But here's the thing, people want their old characters too. So Marvel is starting a new initiative, and you're probably going to see it. They're bringing some of the old characters back in the fold. Captain America's already back, and then you have both Steve and Sam, which is cool. But you're going to see classic Thor, Odin's son, come back. You're going to see regular Logan most likely coming back. You're going to see Iron Man coming back, Tony. You can probably see Bruce coming back. Like, I think it's good that Marvel will go back to the roots on that. They need to do something. They so desperately, because right now there's only 3 comics from Marvel that I want to read, and I want to so desperately want to read Marvel. Like, it's not like I hate Marvel. I like Marvel. I think whenever a comic book company succeeds, the comic book industry succeeds. But boy, they need to get they need to get their shit straight too. So yeah, it would be good for them to have that, and I'm interested to see where they go with that. I think X-Men Gold, although the lineup isn't as classic of a lineup, it has a lot of Claremont characters in there. I think it's definitely tone-wise a good step in the right direction. But like I said, if they bring back Banner, Tony, Odin's son, and Logan, and bring them back into the fold, I think that's going to be a huge step in the right direction. With that said, if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, the link is down below. In addition to that, if you want to support my page, you can go on my Patreon down there. If you do, any support would be much appreciated. It goes right to the channel. And with that said, I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.